an early morning, and this is not an early morning for news per se. This is an early morning for a certain degree of what I'm going to call redemption. That's what I'm going to call it. The destruction of ZUGGY. Those of you who don't know, one day, I think it was maybe a few weeks ago, I sat here and played a marathon round of chess going from like, let's say 2 in the morning to like 7 in the morning. I think it was like 9 hours. This is some insane time frame. But in playing for that long, my rating went from like 1600 to 1900. That isn't a magnificent skill or display of skill and acumen. In some cases, going from like at the very end of one's rope, fighting back to this momentous, respectable position of 19 and something. But one name in this match defied me. ZUGGY. Goddamn ZUGGY. ZUGGY came up over and over again, periodically, through that night. And it didn't matter what my rating was. He kicked my ass. He kicked my ass royally. And it happened over and over and over again. And this wasn't a case where I was demoralized. You know, this like a beaten man in this case, and you just kind of kick a beaten man. This was me ready and willing to fight all of the soldiers on field, ready to kind of take this to the mat. And he bested me over and over again in front of my audience. It wasn't a huge audience, but it was enough. It still hurt. So I've been looking for ZUGGY. I've been actively looking for ZUGGY. Now, I haven't been to bed tonight. I've been essentially been up all night, doing mostly the news. It was only until like 6, 7 this morning that I started playing chess. 5, 6 this morning. But the first game that pops up this morning is ZUGGY. And I didn't have time to actually turn the game on or turn the camera on and everything else, because I wanted to just battle this out in front of my audience. No takes, no nothing, just a fight to the death. I got my opportunity to have that battle with ZUGGY. And ZUGGY failed to take down the soapbox. Failed. He lost. Completely lost. I'm calling this the destruction of ZUGGY. And this is going to be, to some degree, the redemption of the progressive soapbox with regards to maintaining a certain domination of chess and defending this channel. And defending this channel from all challenges of chess, foreign and domestic. I was ecstatic. Even though this is probably me at my weakest moment. I've been up all night. I've been up for like 24 hours. ZUGGY is probably fresh, spry. Probably had a great night's sleep. I don't know who ZUGGY is or where ZUGGY is, but these are the things that I'm emboldening into my opponent here. This is a grudge match. Let's do it. Soapbox. I don't care. I don't care what time it is. If ZUGGY's around, ZUGGY's going to take him out. Alright, Sicilian. Now, this part is interesting, right? Now, look at the ratings, by the way. My rating is pretty decent. I've been able to hold my own in regards to ratings. But this is the Sicilian, and this is kind of a dickish start to this. Like, he's attacking my bishop right off the bat. Fair enough. This is an aggressive play by Black. He's being belligerent. He's being extraordinarily belligerent. How dare he dare come at me like this? Alright. Now, my problem here is this makes my development somewhat clumsy. I have to pay attention to this, meaning the bishop is tied down to the defense of the b2 pawn. This knight is still, even though it's not necessarily in a position to injure me, it is still a pain in my ass, because at any point, if something changes in the position, it could be in a position to injure me. So there are a few things I have to pay attention to in this position. One of the main things, though, is I need to develop my pieces. How do you develop your pieces in somewhat of a sound way that, at the very least, does something, or that doesn't kill you, while at the same time posing some kind of problems for your opponent if you get the opportunity. In this case, I just wanted to get my pieces out. Threatening the queen. And my goal here is to kick this knight. That doesn't necessarily work exactly the way I want it to. There's another problem here with the bishop here, meaning if this knight moves, the bishop goes here, attacks the queen. That's not an immediate problem, but it's still something on the horizon I need to pay attention to. So these are the things that I'm looking at while I'm in the middle of playing the game. So, but still, I don't hate my position. At the same token, I don't love my position. And I suspect he feels the same. All right. I don't want to trade that knight for that bishop, so. All right. I don't like this position. If I'm being honest, I don't particularly like this position. I don't hate it, but I don't particularly like it either. Let's keep going. I'll explain. E5 is awkward for me. I don't know what to do with this. I mean, for the most part, it doesn't matter what I want. At the end of the day, I think I have to move my knight back to f3. But this doesn't necessarily... It's not horrible for me, even, but I'm uncomfortable with it. And let me play it out to explain why. Pawn takes, pawn takes. The position of the white king is not horrible. It's not unsafe, but again, it's somewhat airy. The pawns are gone. Black is putting pressure on this pawn, and now this does allow an opportunity to get rid of one of the defenders that black has. Getting rid of the g7 bishop weakens the a1 h8 diagonal. He doesn't want to do it. That's a problem. That's pain. I gotta get out that. Now what I wanted here was if bishop takes, pawn takes, creating a pawn center. ZUGGY doesn't want to do that just for the very reason that I want to do that. Both of us accept reality the way it is, so he chooses not to take it on those terms. Let's keep going. In retrospect, I probably should have put it here on C square. This needs to be bolstered. This square was already relatively heavily defended. This is awkward. This was an awkward move. And here's the other thing. This goes back to the rook thing. If this rook would have moved here, the moment that this, I would have been able to put this rook to here. Because the position was what it was, this bad move gives an awkward push. Because, and this is not the easiest for chess players to do. I move this rook here. I move that rook there for a reason. I would need to admit that I'm wrong in order to say, okay, fair enough, I need to move this rook back. Most chess players can't do that. Most human beings can't do that. And oftentimes, that's one of those things that your brain just kind of skips over because, well, I moved the rook there, I don't need to move it back. But it's very possible that this move would have been perfectly palatable. Like I said, the d4 position is solid. Yeah, the d4 position is solid. Nevertheless, that's not what happened. Let's go to what happened. A push. I don't hate that, but I push. That forces an exchange, and I lose a pawn. I'm a pawn down, but this position is wide open, so it doesn't necessarily mean we're not in an in-game stage, and there are all sorts of pieces on the board, and this is blitz, so the same rules. Yes, the same rules of chess apply, but there's a time limit because it's blitz. And by the way, this is a pretty damn good game. So, you know, this is not one of those things where ZUGGY just kind of tripped over his feet. This was a good game. It was well played. Now, this is, I would imagine, somewhat awkward, even though he's exerting a fair amount of force on the position. Also, rooks love open ranks, and so he has open files. But my problem is I can't get a rook on these ranks. He is guarding both of the ranks with the queens and the bishop. You don't have to be on a square to exert pressure on a square. You can exert pressure in other ways. In this case, this is what's taking place. He's guarding his 7th rank using the pieces in an awkward position. So my battle is to try to get those rooks on the 7th rank. And we're just kind of having this kind of fighting chess. All right. And that's ugly. That's ugly. That's ugly. And that's followed by a worse move. So even if I would have done this is goddamn natural. Not just goddamn natural, I would argue is winning. I would argue is winning. Because understand what's going on. He doesn't have a check here, and at best, he goes here, but that loses this rook. So he can't even do that. So what do you do in this position? After this, if the rook moves, depending on where the rook moves, like where does the rook go? The rook can't go here. The rook can go here, I guess, I suppose. But this looks awesome for white. Stuff like this starts to happen. Like, what do you do, dog? What do you do? What does Scully do? I mean, what does Zuggy do? But again, that's not what happened. What took place was a fuck up. Alright, so let's go with the fuck up. And keep in mind, our time is getting low. And so now time is a factor in the game. This is not, no, it's a 3-minute game. And it's played at relatively high level of a 3-minute game. That was a fuck up, however. But time is not a factor in the game. Alright. I finally got to the 7th. And that hurts. God damn it. And that's horrible. I don't understand. Why couldn't I do this? Oh, I see. I was trying to protect the other pawn. This and this. But he can't do that because of this. God damn it. God damn it. God damn it. God damn it. Alright. I saw a ghost. That's what happened. I saw a goddamn ghost. So the queen retreats.
Check. Check.
In the ass. In the ass. And at this point, my troops are demoralized.
Check.
At this point, it hurts. But I still have 19 seconds. And giving up, pessimism is not a survival trait.
Check.
This is to the bitter end. And at this point, I'm just trying to defend what I got.
Check.
Defend and run.
Check.
Run.
Check.
Run. Run like the wind.
Check. Check.
Run like your life depends on it. And as bad as it looks, it's a win. It's a win, and I'm going to take this win. And I'm going to say this is the destruction of Zuggy, because Zuggy just took an L right here. The progressive soapbox opens the space to any challengers, any suckers that want to get got, just like Zuggy just got. Yeah, I'll go with that. Just saying. Just saying. Yeah, I feel good about that. I feel good about that win. In fact, I'm going to do one more game. Because that game wasn't the most, glowing show of ability. At the end, the rest of the game, most of the game was good. But that last part, it got a little not great. But let's get one more game in. I have a busy day ahead of me. So let's have some fun. Let's play some chess. Let's see. Question is, who's going to be here to pick up my challenge? I don't control who the computer picks up. It's almost like, God above just plucks an opponent out of the wasteland. Fact of the matter is, Zuggy could be the next opponent. Man, would that be wouldn't that be some shit if Zuggy ends up being the opponent? I've ran my mouth, talk shit about him. Fact of the matter is that guy, he's an extremely strong player. Even in this game, you can get across a strongies.
check, check, check,
That's how you play this game. Fucking how you play this game. If I can't do anything else, nothing else, on my gravestone, he could play this game. Ah! Look at that. I know you probably thought, oh man, it looks like he's in trouble. I was never in trouble. Infinite confidence. Pessimism is it's not a survival trait. This game gets goddamn interesting, man. So, black pushes in the center. And this gets into a weird position. This. So, and after this, I lose a pawn. Not just one pawn, I lose 2 pawns. But in exchange for those pawns is positional consideration. Here's the catch. It doesn't matter how many pieces you have at the end of the game if you lose the game. Fact of the matter is, he opened his position up in taking those pawns, and it allowed black something to play against. Even though that's not necessarily what you want to do in a game, if that makes sense. It's more like you taking what you got and working with it and coming up with something fucking awesome. Again, attack, push. I'm trying to break through the position and create certain weaknesses, and that's what's taking place. He's been able to gain a pawn, but his weaknesses have started to back up. For example, here's an open file directly to his king. Here's another pawn that's acting like a battering ram into his position. Now he can't take because the queen comes over, so he just pushes past. But again, this creates another problem. His rook now is stuck back here with all of this pressure on the position. Again, this not necessarily is definitively a lost position. In fact, black is probably worse off. But white needs to play it right. For example, giving up this pawn is not playing it right. Like, that is a fucking problem. So now the rook gets entryway into the position, and white has to pay attention to what's going on. So whatever attack that he has
check,
has to come back
check
here and pay attention to this. Now, I think he thought he had something else here. So I think he might have looked at this and thought, I had to take with my rook, which would allow him to take my rook with his queen. Didn't have to do that.
Check.
Alright. Black is up the exchange. And he has open ranks for his rook. Open files. But black also has to play it right, because there are threats over here. Not necessarily to lose the game, but definitely lose material. Attack everything. Don't let him get any opportunities to Do anything. Attack. Attack. Attack.
check,
The breaking of a man. The breaking of a man. He's rated 1975 and he just got broken. Broken like a boy. I don't know what my rating has gone up to at this point, but I wanted this channel to see the ultimate destructive skill of the progressive soapbox. Yes, my rating has gone up, and I've been able to sustain that rating. If anybody was curious. Alright. I want to end this here because I am starving. I'll see you guys later today. Thanks all. Bye-bye. And this.